Hello, everyone. This is an introductory podcast to the probably most important learning module of our course this summer, and that has to do with our project involving DavCo. So we have made up a fictitious company with hopefully some very realistic scenarios and transactions that will require you to record them. So the company is DavCo, and the information about the company is found here as you click on the DavCo All the Steps. So we've broken it somewhat down into steps. We're going to do 2 years of financial statements and 2 years worth of transactions. Now we've tried to make it so that you don't have to make hundreds of separate transactions, but combined a lot of the information into what might be considered kind of summary journal entries that you can make and won't take as much time. So I expect you to have lots of questions about this. This is your biggest part of your grade. This is going to be what you're going to be writing about in some of your memos. This is going to result when we're done with the financial statements, as well as a compilation report, as well as then we will have we'll do the tax return for the corporation and for the owners or the shareholders in the corporation. So it really is the basis for a lot of what we're going to do and the points that are going to be awarded for this semester. So some other information. First of all, I broke it down into 5 discussion boards. So how many questions I expect you to have in order and be able to break it down so that we can answer questions on a more simple basis by step. For getting started, acquiring assets, then the first 6 months of journal entries, second 6 months, third 6 months, fourth 6 months, a total of 2 years. The financials will be put in this Dropbox, and they will look like professional financial statements. So you're going to need to take them out of the accounting software you use, put them into Excel, and use Excel skills to make sure that it looks professional side by side, 2016 compared to 2017, so that they can see the trends and the comparison and so forth with regard to DavCo. We'll need a compilation report and information about the different types of reports and what a compilation report should look like is down here. And you'll need to do a little research to find that and make sure that looks professional. If you do not have accounting software you have access to, if you do, feel free to use it as long as that's okay with your employer. If you have QuickBooks or Peachtree or some other type of accounting software, you feel free to use that. I don't care what you do there. If you do not, then here is access to a free online accounting software you can use. And you go there, you'll set it up here. The easiest way to do it is set it up with your Google account if you already have one, Gmail account, and you won't have to put as much stuff in. Okay. Once you have set that up, you'll want to name it DavCo Company and put your name in it too, so that when it prints reports and stuff, it'll have your name and the company name. Now, this is a free software. It will try to put up ads and things like that. You do not need to pay any money for any of the things that it asks you to do that with. You can click through all those ads or ignore those ads, but that's how they remain free. You're going to do, first thing you're going to need is a chart of accounts. You're going to need the accounts you're going to use. Read through that, the first couple of steps, and you'll have an idea of the types of accounts that you're going to need. And of course, we're going to have to make sure they're in the right section, assets, and so forth. The way you add an account to the chart of accounts is right here. Add an account, and then select the kind of asset. You can change bank, current assets, fixed asset, which are long-term assets, liabilities, current and non-current. You got income, which really should say revenue, expense, and then equity. That's how you add. You can also, once you've added, you can change the name of at least most of accounts. Some accounts you can edit, some you cannot. Once you've added it, if you see the little pencil here, you can edit it. If you don't see that, you cannot change things about the account. All right. Once you have the accounts you're going to be using, then you can make journal entries, and that is done by using the journal transactions. You're not going to have any starting balances because you're going to start at zero. It's a brand new company. In journal transactions, you see a whole list of things in here that like you might see. But to add a transaction, you put a description, you put the date, all right? And just all we're worried about is getting it in the right year for DavCo. And then you just choose the account you want to debit, and then choose the account you want to credit. The amounts over here. If you want to put a description, you can, but the description only a description that's required is here. You can put as many lines as you want. You cannot save it unless it balances, so you have to make it work. So you're going to be using chart of accounts, you're going to be using journal transactions, and then you're going to create reports. All right, so once you have things in there, you can print a balance sheet, income statement. I will tell you, I think that the formatting, while this is a nice, fairly easy to use, free software, the financial statements it prints out are awful and definitely not professional, and you'll see many problems with them as you do that. That's why I'm requiring you to take them into Excel, rearrange them, make them look like what you would see if I were to go to an annual report for a publicly traded company. All right, you can find several examples of what that should look like, and you're going to make the formulas work and all of that good stuff to make your balance sheet balance and add up, your income statement to work, so forth. Because as we reach the end, or towards the end of the semester, we're going to take information from this report, and not only are we going to submit it, we're also going to use it as a basis to create budgets for next year and the following year. And of course, we want to make sure it's correct for tax return purposes. It will also be decisions like how you make things, whether you use an asset or an expense, useful life, all those decisions will need to be made, and you will have an opportunity in your memos, and that's a separate learning module, to write to the owners of DavCo and explain what decisions you've made and why, so that they can understand their financial statements when you provide them to them. So that's the idea of this set of assignments, this biggest chunk of your grade as well as of our activity this semester. You want to get started right away. It seems like it's a ways away, but there's a lot to work to do, and you want to make sure that you have a chance to correct any errors and that you're not rushed at the end to try to get it all looking good, because it needs to look professional, as if we were providing it for clients or to the bank or something of that nature.